In an ever-changing complex digital reality, organizations today are faced with increasing challenges to deliver seamless customer experiences 24/7. For Customer eShop, they are faced with a serious wake-up call. Either continue letting their frontline technicians fight losing battles against the unknown, or adopt full service ownership, enabling subject matter experts to leverage their expertise in order to reduce downtime, drive transformation, and empower eShop to focus on what they do best: serve their customers and grow their business. The competitive landscape is fierce for eShop, where development teams are continuously shipping code to meet the demands of the business. What used to be a simple product has now evolved into an ever-changing web of complex and interdependent technologies. When eShop set up their service configuration, they organized all of their services around their monitoring tools, like this one here called Datadog. It seemed easy at the time, but each monitoring tool is instrumenting up to 20 underlying applications, which means that any time an incident comes in, the team has to scramble and spend precious time trying to figure out which exact underlying application is having a problem. To add to this, their frontline technicians don't have any real knowledge of the underlying applications, working more of a first line of defense, but without any tools or expertise to triage the issues efficiently. This causes massive bottlenecks and delays to their incident response process, costing the company time, money, and potentially their reputation to customers. By the time the technicians figure out which development team to page, they still can't answer any of the basic questions around the blast radius or customer impact of the issue. Service dependencies, business and technical, are meaningless for monitoring tool services, leaving subject matter experts like Joe with a cold start in the triage step. With this fragmented and inefficient process, there's no ownership or accountability to ensure that this doesn't happen again. And indeed, it does repeat time and time again. By adopting full service ownership with PagerDuty, eShop can now bring both technical and business owners closer to their customers' journey, quickly address and resolve issues that arise so they can get back to focusing on their customers and growing their business. Joe is working on a deliverable that needs to be completed this week in advance of a big conference his company hosts each year. The timeline is tight, but he thinks his team can make it. An incident comes in, and Joe first sees the notification ping on his MS Teams channel. He quickly looks at the title and description and sees that one of their team's APIs is returning a high number of 500 errors. He thinks, this could be a number of things. He sees that there's additional context for this incident. In particular, there was a recent change deployed on the service, which may be the culprit, and there also is a related incident on one of the dependent services as well. Joe knows that about 60 to 80% of incidents are related to underlying changes, so he decides to look at that first. By clicking on the change link, he sees that another team pushed this change, which is weird. Usually there are processes for this team to review each change, but a lot of teams are under pressure for this upcoming conference, so maybe they just push the change without a review. He also sees that the same team that pushed the change is the one that's having the related incident. He quickly sees who is on call for that team and how to reach out to them about the change and the related incident, and reaches out to her. It looks like Joan's on call for this service. Joan responds to Joe and apologizes for pushing the change without the proper review process. Things are just crazy at the moment with the conference deadline, and confirms her team is working on a fix that should be pushed shortly. Joan also mentions that because their services roll up to the e-commerce business service, they are in the process of communicating the issue and status to key stakeholders. Joe says thanks, and that he will just sit tight while Joan's team fixes the issue. Knowing that the issue is being handled, Joe returns to working on his conference deliverable. Having to deal with that issue in addition to his normal role would have surely resulted in him missing his deadline for the conference. A few minutes later, Joe sees that the incident has been auto-resolved when the monitors return to normal levels. Joe realizes that this has actually been a reoccurring issue, and so he decides to investigate further using PagerDuty's insights. Within the Incident Activity view, Joe searches for the incident and identifies it is associated with a web database service. He then moves over to the Service Performance view and sees that for the last month there have been way too many incidents with a rising MTTR. He wonders what kind of impact this has had on the team's health and business. With a quick glance, he sees that